How you doing? It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around can warm up to its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, spread His love to everyone you want to pass it on. Oh man, I can remember times in Oregon when I grew up singing that by the campfire in the church groups. Yeah, buddy. Oh man, we're gonna change the world. And then somebody would give some little speech. Okay, you just gotta go to them, and then you tell them that if they don't believe in Jesus just like this, and they gotta say it just like this, and they gotta pray just like this, and then if it's gonna... What? That song was like about God's love, not some brainwashing experiment. Because one thing everybody forgets about is that the Pharisees were really good at evangelization. We gotta go out and get more people for the church. But he called the church that was supposed to be a house of prayer a den of thieves. So he wasn't really big into evangelization techniques for the dens of thieves. See, maybe if they were houses of prayer, but then they wouldn't be out going, you gotta believe like this. No, they would be out going, can I pray for you? Because, you know, one time my mom, she was always, she used to home all the time. Now she her brain kind of went, but it's all good. She's being taken care of in one of those homes, But she was, she liked to feed the birds, and she was always something, She always had it was good because she always had like a song, like a praise song in her heart. So it was good, and she, I'm not saying she was messed up, but she would tell the neighbors that she'd pray and stuff, but she wasn't real, hey, you gotta get this. She did a little of that, but she wasn't too crazy like that, because she did go to that Bible study, talked a lot about doctrines of men that make sons of hell. So, she wasn't really into those evangelization techniques. So she'd just say something like, hey, can I pray for you? Like that. And, most neighbors and friends. There was one neighbor, really nice, like from Swedish. She was a nice lady, married to a doctor or something. And she was really into horses and stuff. And she really liked my mom. And she talked to her, but she didn't really, she's like, I'm really not into God stuff, Later, something happened with her mom. I don't remember. It had she was in some boat thing and she almost died. And she saw my mom and she's like, hey, how are you doing? Jackie, how are you doing? My mom was like, hey, I'm doing good. And, could you pray for my mom? Oh, sure. What's going on? Well, she almost died. But yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, I'll definitely pray. And all of a sudden, it was almost like she didn't need to tell her, hey, you gotta come and believe like this, because she started to have some faith now, because she could see mountains that needed to be moved, and somebody seemed to be able to do that. But maybe the churches, it wasn't working. I don't know, but see, if Jesus said that doctrines of men made sons of hell, and that they were going out and proselytizing, which is evangelization techniques, to make twice the sons of themselves, then what did Jesus think of evangelization techniques? I'm going to say not much, because Kirk Cameron, where are you now? And oh, Ray Comfort, you aren't giving any comfort for the king who's coming now? Because, wow, Ray Comfort had evangelization techniques that put on a show, literally. But I always thought, this doesn't feel quite right. It felt like more like he forgot that verse, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, you have no part in the kingdom. And he's going around telling everybody, hey, have you ever lied? Well, you're a murderer and a thief and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, that's not cool, man. That's like messing with my king, and like, it doesn't look right, dude. So Kirk Cameron did Left Behind movies and everything. Well, I met Tim LaHaye, and he said, oh yes, not only is Left Behind true, but he's coming before I die. And I was like, really? Wow, because he looked like a retired used car salesman and talked like one too. And I'm like, geez, buddy, I mean, I don't want to be messed up, but you don't look like you're planning on staying around that much longer, so that's really big words for you to say. And now he's dead? Well, that kind of means that he's like a false prophet. And now all these evangelization technique guys like Kirk Cameron, who was in Left Behind, and he was with Ray Comfort, they were doing the dance together about all these lying thieves that need to wake up and get on the right track before they get left behind. Well, now everybody's gotten left behind, well, except for the UFO ones. And I don't know, did Kirk Cameron go away on UFO and Ray Comfort too? Because they're not giving any comfort right now. I don't know who's who, because right now these pastors are gaslighting like I've never seen. There's some Israel born again, or I can't even remember him. I gotta love him. Thinks he's got a heart. Well, I mean, I think he's got a good heart. Maybe, I don't know. He's a Marine guy, so I'm not trying to be messed up. You know, they went through a lot and got caught in, that political, whatever, red pill, blue pill stuff. So I don't know what political scene he's in, but bro, get to the point. He's like, she's all messed up. You gotta get to the truth. You can't do this. And pointing the finger. But he never wants to talk about the king is coming. We all got about to. What's this about? And who are you really? What is Israel born again? What does that mean? Like, are you the remnant of Revelation 7? Or what part of Revelation 2 are you? Because I don't understand it. Don't hear you talking about the king coming. So what is your plan? Because if you're born again Israel, does that mean you're like the born again Ashkenazis? Or what are you trying to say? I don't get it. So watch out for the gaslighters these days, because wow, they're coming out in droves. And then there's another Liberty Fellowship did a message last night. Oh boy, you better watch out, because he's coming back with fire. That there's evil out to get us, and it, like, you don't know who it is, and the devil uses them, though he thinks God is, or something really wild. And I'm like, who are you gaslighting right now? And then all of a sudden he talks about, you better not raise spoiled brats. That's where you were leading to. And I just, wow. And, there was a great message by some preachers. Even though they were like, kind of took some of that red pill, blue pill stuff, and they were a little on that Judeo-Christian whatever boat, But yet they did say some really good things sometimes. And, you know, you can learn from a lot of people, even if they're not totally on the same page as you. You might have some doctrines mixed up, but most of them, they might be all right. And Swindoll had joy in him, at least it seemed. And he said one time that some of these evangelization techniques, well, they kind of make people into, like, you know, like fake salt. It kind of reminds me of when Jesus said, what is it? If your salt doesn't have no flavor, it needs to be just taken out and thrown out and trampled by men. Well, I think he might have been talking about some people, because, like, their salt is just like faux. It's like iodized, you know, that just no pink Himalayan stuff there. It's just like, yo, dude, what's the flavor of your salt? Because I don't taste it, and it kind of seems a little fake. So he said that the thing about this fake salt is that, like, when people are real, come on, you gotta come to my church, or you gotta believe like this. Well, he said that a lot of people, they give people, like, this, like, taste of God so they can invite him in with that taste. It's kind of like my hairstyle right now. It's not too nice. And so, well, let's just say, here's some mashed potatoes, is what they say. And Chucky has a really good way of saying it. I remember exactly how he said it. He says, have you ever had those mashed potatoes where, like, somebody screwed up and they put, like, triple the salt? They just kind of, like, spilled and they just stirred it in. And then, like, when you taste it, it's like, yeah, you can't even eat it. It's like, dude, did you make these in the ocean, or what the heck is this? And he said that over salted mashed potatoes that you're, like, choking on, well, that's how these people are. Hey, you gotta get Jesus like this, and if you don't have this Jesus, you're gonna burn in hell forever, so you better do it now. Otherwise it's blasphemy. Really? Do say, because that's not what blasphemy is. In fact, that's way far from it. You might be committing it by the way you evangelize. So anyway, if you see any teachers right now and they're gaslighting, that might be a sign that they're, like, nervous because what they're saying, well, it might be like those mashed potatoes and nobody's eating it, so they're just trying something new here. Try this. I gotta remix my potatoes because they're not too edible. So, yeah, there's a few of this, like, I think Liberty Fellowship might be just, I don't know, he's blind to see. He's already a zombie man, and he just can't give up that money. So, that's the thing, see? That's why I do these things like this, because I don't have a bunch of money to worry about, see? Or all these riches, but I do have threats, believe you me, and wow. Pray for lawyers to come to me soon. But that's another subject that I don't really worry about. I never really did. Maybe that's why. But it's all good. So just follow the king and get on his team and listen to preachers that don't blaspheme or that don't gaslight like others are doing this wrong. So, well, I'm taking them all on. I don't really gaslight, like, unless I'm fully, like, debating them on what they believe with King's U. But this is just to let you know that gaslighting is happening with quite a few, so you might just want to keep your eyes open and listen to what they preach, and if they're talking about these evil ones attacking us, or don't listen to this guy or not this one. I'll tell you, don't listen to 90% of them, especially if they can't say king, because that means they're working for the Sino de Satan, and they've got him all over, because there's plenty of money there, and well, plenty of deception too. As long as you don't worship a king, you're all good here. Well, if you're talking about a king, come up. No, we don't do that here. Well, that's not good. See, that means hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. No more. That's what you gotta do, because I don't want you to get too caught up in these beastly schemes that mark your heart and turn you into a spiritual zombie, which we have many of right now. That might be what that great deception is, because there's many right now that are spiritual zombies, right? Where do you want me to go, Prince? Because that's what it's all about. It's the Prince. Prince is back, all right. And he's really strong, but the only thing is that got double angels and the king coming to fight him, so get away from the princes before the purple rain comes, because even the gaslighting ones are not looking good right now, and you don't want to be with them, because that whore de Babylonia, she will be revealed soon, and well, that's not